to welcome the strategic, ever smiling Nileen Datta.
Good morning, BICC. Good morning, everyone. Okay, let me put myself on gallery. All right. So good to see so many smiling faces, right? And everyone excited? I know this is like the third session back to back, right? No breaks given. Yeah, some of you are fidgety, some of you have already gotten up and come back, some of you are yet to get back, right? So great. So first of all, thank you so much to captain and co-captain Purnesh and Bhavti. Great job, amazing. I think everyone is very entertained by your by the whole look of a pilot and co-pilot, right? Very unique and amazing sessions to start the day with. You heard from V Council Shantanu, right? He kicked off things, and I think whatever he spoke, he's been doing that with us from day one in the business. So always thankful to that, right? And then of course followed by the evergreen V Council Manish. And I'm assuming after these two sessions, number one, you have assumed, you have decided to be in that third category, right? As VC Shantanu said, right? And I'm again assuming this is a fair assumption that now you're very confident and very excited to be a part of network marketing as an industry. Yes, so I'm a proud network marketer, right? And I'm gonna take things from where he left it. Okay. So, so I'm going to talk about something closer to us. Now, you heard about network marketing, you heard about the challenges it has and the massive advantages it carries, right? Now, let me talk about the thing that got us into this industry, right? Or the company, which is Qnet, right? Now, I'm going to talk about two very beautiful things that happened to us, to all of us, right? And we have come together today because of these two things, right? Number one is Qnet, right? And number two is BI, correct? Yeah, so this is what binds us together, yeah, as a family. Yeah, so let me start off talking about Qnet because before I actually start, how Qnet happened to me. Just let me take 2 minutes. So already you heard about. I come from an advertising background and I don't have any business background, right? So 2013, on a fateful day, my referrer, Pranks, she calls me and says that we have started something. Now, I didn't know whether it's big or small. I just knew that I had to go there because even though I never knew that I'm getting into a business, but something pulled me, right? Correct. Something got me to that chair, and those are the physical days. There was no Zoom at that time. Zoom was not even born, right? I'm talking about 2013. Okay, so I sit there. I don't know how I am ready to take a loan to start the business, right? I'm ready to embrace the whole concept of earning 4 to 5 crores, right, in 4 to 5 years. I don't know what pulled me, but something just there was something magnetic, right, about this business, about Qnet. Yeah. So that's how I started. And of course, the rest is history because uh, Qnet has shown me not only a life of choices, it has shown me successes, it has shown me failures. And I'm truly thankful to everything it has shown me. But going back, when I started, it was just more than a decade. I mean, 15-year-old company at that time. Today, Qnet has been operating for more than 27 years, right? And if you look closely, if you've already understood from the various sessions that you might have attended, from VCons that you might have attended, that all of what Qnet does today, it completely aligns with the world today of 2025, right? With the new age principles, the new business ideas, everything, the vision of our founders back in 1998, they kind of saw this trend happening, and that's why they got into e-commerce back then. Yeah. So where does the whole economic value lie for Qnet? It is very simple. It is the customer base. It is you and me, right? And it is that ever growing customer base, yeah, which is constantly growing across continents, right? There is not a single country I've heard where there is nobody, right? Everywhere people have this company has touched, I think, every country which has human beings there, right? So Qnet today not only I mean it is building towards becoming an e-marketplace of a massive e-marketplace, but the future holds very very bright. Like how you saw V Council Manish start with his shades on, right? So it is true. The future is truly bright, not only for the industry, but this company that is kind of spearheading all sorts of growth in this industry, right? Now the foundation, like I said, in 1998 was built on e-commerce, right? And e-commerce is built on technology, which is only the future. I mean, I remember 2008, 2009 when I used to make PowerPoint presentations for my advertising agency. right? We used to keep typing this one slide in every presentation we made, that e-commerce is the future, e-commerce is the future, e-commerce is the future, right? I choose to believe that we are already living in the future, right? We are the future right now, correct? And it's the best place to be. So Qnet offers a flexible kind of a work environment. It's like a gig, you must have heard of gig economy, right? This is a gig based work where most people who have started here, right, they started with a job, correct or not? Like I started with a job, right? And soon what happened was I made it a side gig along with my job, not a spare time business, but a part-time business for myself, right? And utilized what Qnet has already provided me, the products, the services, the after sales, right? The logistics, everything, right? Everything that it has provided me, it has saved me tons of money from incurring tons of money into any traditional business, right? So they are taking care of all that cost center function, all the traditional aspects of a business, so that I can focus entirely on building this customer base, which is, like I said, the real economic value of our company. Correct. So I started it, as a side business, made it a part-time business, right? And then eventually my plan B, which was Qnet, became plan A. Yeah. And there is a way, there is a path that is already laid down where even you can turn it into a plan A, creating multiple income streams through this income, right? That QNet has built for us, right? Now I'm going to talk about four things, right? Four major big reasons why I believe that we are all in the right place with the right company. Yeah. So the first, right? It has to start with the founders themselves. Yeah, so you have heard enough of, especially those people who have gone to VCon, who have attended events, the physical events, right? This is a e-event, right? Correct. We have a digital event going on right now, but the physical events I'm talking about, you know already what I'm going to talk about, right? So Datoshri Vijay Ishwaran and Joseph Jabadas Bismarck, right, are the founders, and they founded QNet not with, I believe, and whatever I've heard so far from them, right, and from others talking about them, they never started with a goal of becoming millionaires or billionaires, right? I do see that that still holds true today, even though they are, right? But even in the 28th year running, right, their intention is still not to just become or keep all the money to themselves, right? They started with a very noble mission at that time. And for those of you who don't know how QNet started, it was because of a promise that these two gentlemen made to their downlines. You know what had happened at that time? So they were a part of another network marketing company that closed down, right? So because they were making a lot of money, the company thought that they cannot pay off these people signed up in Southeast Asia, right? So they stopped operations there completely, wound up and went out, right? Now these two gentlemen could have easily walked away because they made their money, right? They could have easily walked away and pursued other opportunities, right? And they could have not given two hoots about helping others. But why did they do so, right? Because it's their sense of ownership, right? It's their sense of loyalty that they had gathered at or created at that time, and these values, even after 27 years, 28th year running, still hold true, still drive our company today, which is loyalty, love, and service, right? You'll see these, three words being spoken about more and more and more, right? Why? Because that started back in 98. It's not just three words. It is at the DNA level of QNet, right? So instead of abandoning their team, right, they created the system where they ensured that the success could continue. And that's how QNet was born, out of a promise, right? So this is a company that has always kept held true to its promises, right? Whether it was 1998 or it was 2013 when I started, or into 2025, and I think it'll go beyond, right? Because it's in the DNA, structurally instilled there. It can't change, right? So, by the way, these two gentlemen I'm talking about also boast of very good backgrounds before they came, right? So Dato Sri Vijay Ishwaran had worked with some fantastic companies before he got into business, right? Including time at IBM, big companies, right, like IBM. And he's a graduate from the London School of Economics, correct? So good, I mean, good background, good pedigree, right? And Japadas Bismarck, he was already successful business. He was running a successful business in Philippines. Now, why would these two gentlemen, they could have gone back to what they were doing also, but still they chose to build this. Now, that tells you about the beginning, the genesis of what runs in the DNA of the company, right? So their mission is to touch a billion hearts. I remember in 2013, when I went for a regional week on Dubai, and I saw this as a banner, right? Touching a billion hearts. Honestly speaking, I'm from an advertising background. These lines do nothing to me, right? But in those 4 days, I really saw what they meant. Each and every session that the DNA had gone across to every single leader that took stage at that time, and I could see that it's running in the flesh and blood of everyone, right? So their mission is to touch a billion hearts, not to become just billionaires. Yeah. So their objective is to provide a platform for people like you and me, ordinary people like you and me, right, to achieve our dreams. Yeah. And this noble philosophy is kind of what drives the entire organization. So this was a major reason. In fact, it got re-instilled in me when I saw them in true flesh and blood, right, in physical form, in Vcon. Yeah. And that's when I knew that I'm at the right place. So this is one major reason, right, why it makes so much sense to be here. Yeah. The second big reason is the number of years, the vintage that the company boasts of. Right. Now let me give you some facts, and you can look it up anywhere. Right. It is a very well-known fact that 90% of all new businesses fail within the first 5 years. Do you know this? Yeah. If you don't, you can look it up. Like I said, right? You can verify this. Now, of the remaining 10%, right? Another 90% will fail by the 10th year. Right? Now, what does this mean? That out of 100 companies or businesses that start today, right, only one is likely to survive after a decade. Right? Now, this statistic holds true across every industry. Yeah. Now, we recently celebrated our 27th anniversary on the September 8th. Correct? And I mean, however, I when I see it as 27 years, when I went to VCon, when I served in the last time or 2 years back when I was there in the QI tower, you know what they're talking about? They're not talking about the 27, 26, 25 years that they've built it so far and the accolades they have, right? They talk about simple, the DNA is so strong. They talk about it is the beginning of the next 25 years, the next 26 years, right? So they are not worried about what they have done. They are ready to empty their cup, yeah, and build the next 25, 26 years to be even better because their mission is to touch a billion hearts, right? Yeah. So when I first went to Vcon, like I said, I was immediately impressed by the partners, the founders, and they had a clear vision, right? And that kind of gave me a lot of solace in my decision to start business with this brand called Qnet, right? They were very clear in telling us who they are, who we are, what is expected out of us, where are we going as a collective, as a team. And I think that gave me a lot of inclusivity, the feeling of inclusivity that, okay, I can resonate with this, right? So, why I talk about vintage is that they have withstood the test of time. Now, the mark of any success story is how long has it been there and what all has it seen in its journey, negative and positive, right? Many people predicted, and even in my journey, right in the beginning in 2013, many of my friends they said this company will wrap up, right? This company will fail. It is not going to succeed. It will not be there very, very soon. Give it 6 months, 9 months, 10, 12 months, right? Give it a couple of years. This has been completely quashed by the company. Why? Because these predictions that people, that the negative, the naysayers, their predictions have completely gone wrong, right? And the company has stood the test of time. So this is the biggest indicator of any company's potential, right? Because of its survival through these years, right? So with this, we are a vintage company, yes, right? 27 years, proving the resilience over time. But I do feel we are very, very young still compared to many other companies out there, right? And compared to the kind of initiatives that the company is taking up, it's almost like it's just begun, right? The excitement with which it is taking up newer challenges, newer countries, right? Entering countries where it was never thought of, never possible, right? They're doing so with a lot of vigor and excitement, which goes to show that they are still as young at heart as they were in 1998. Yeah. The third major reason why we're in the right place is the kind of verticals we boast of. Now, you understand that we are, the product lines that we are into, the number of countries we are a part of, right? Now, one major common thing amongst all its verticals is that they're all in very high growth industries. Yeah. Now, this is also aligned with the global growth trends. right? We are into all the industries that are globally also growing in numbers. Yeah. Now, this alignment is only going strength from strength, and over time, it has only gotten, bigger and bigger in each of these industries, right? What started with only one product in 1998 today has grown to a diverse, range of products across high growth industries, right? Million dollar, multi-million dollar, or even billion dollar industries. I'm talking about sectors like wellness, right? Personal care, home care, durables, right? Luxury. I mean, I can go on, correct? But these are, like I said, they're all multi-billion or trillion-dollar industries, right? Now, if you do your research, you'll also see that there is a consistent double-digit growth year after year for these industries, right? Some of the numbers, of course, I mean, were shown in the previous session also, right? But there are many numbers, many statistics that you can go through, and these are not just small gains. I'm not talking about tiny gains, right? These are massive gains for each of these industries, which are flourishing world over, and these are the industries where we are also, growing. Correct. So we are witnessing significant expansion across these all these areas. So, and by the way, one last thing, that it's not just about the existing industries that we are a part of, but newer industries. The company is always on the lookout for newer industries or newer product lines to go into, which have very high growth in the next decade or two, right? So they are already, everything goes with a vision of how it will pan out in the next several years, right? And that's the beauty. So whenever this company, and every year they're coming up with one or two new product lines, right? Every time they do, I know for a fact that it is backed by tremendous amount of research at the back end, right? And I know that they have done their, strong due diligence on how these industries will progress over the future, right? So I'm always very, very, at peace of mind whenever some new product comes in. I'm the first person to go and buy it because I know it is the future, right? So this is the third one. The fourth, right, is the kind of partnerships or affiliations that they've had over time, right? Now, I mean, the list of accolades they have received over the world is a long list. It'll take me an entire session to only list down all the things that they have done, that they have won, right? That they have partnered with, the kind of success they have seen, right? I will talk about specifically about sports because I am a sports person at heart, right? So they have had amazing, I mean, very fruitful partnerships and affiliations with various sports entities, right? With the confederations of African, the countries, right? It's called the CAF, right? Then with hockey in, in Malaysia, in India, they have hosted several tournaments, right? In football, back to football, they are, they are sponsors of PJ City, if you have heard of them, right? And they have hosted multiple things. They have partnered with other sports entities like in India also, right? In Asia, like Muthaiya Muralitharan, Yuvraj Singh, Saina Nehwal. You know all these, right? And if you didn't, I mean, it's not new news because we keep sharing it in our initial processes that we go through. But the one affiliation that I really want to talk about is the one that they have with none other than Manchester City Football Club, right? This is the most exciting one, to be very honest, right? How many here football fans? Anyone? I mean, I know many people who turned into football fans ever since they knew that Manchester City is a key partner, right? But for those who follow football, right, you know that Manchester City has become the most valuable football club in the world, right? And they're a very old club. They have had a very rough century, right? And they have gone through many ups and downs. But over the last decade, they have broken records. They have been consistently winning. They have won title after title, year after year, right? Breaking crazy amount of records and achieving this in one decade, what they struggled for to achieve in centuries, in more than a century before that, right? Now, is it a coincidence that we partnered with them in 2014? In fact, I was very, very fortunate to be, that was my first Malaysia week on, right, in Penang. And I saw the unveiling of this partnership, right, in 2014. And I thought, honestly speaking, I thought it'll just be a 3, 4 year deal. But they kept renewing, kept renewing. And even today, they are a partner to us. Now, it's not a joke, right? It's not a fluke. It doesn't work just because a company has decided to give money somebody else partners. It is much more strategic than that, right? So it's not a coincidence. I feel it's the aligned energies because both were on the rise, right? Both were growing and both have grown over the past several years, past decade. Yeah. In fact, our partnership is stamped on one of our own brands. Simier, right? They make some of the best Swiss watches across the globe. They're more than 100 years, right? They have a line of watches featuring the Manchester City logo. You know this, right? So, and by the way, the next time you watch a Manchester City game, which I always, keep telling people to watch it. Why? Because you will see the Qnet branding all across, their boards, the sideboards and everything. You'll see it everywhere, right? In women's football in Manchester City, they have it on their shirt logo as well, right? So, you know, the question then becomes that think about think about this credibility that comes from a brand like Manchester City, right? Do you think that they don't have an army of lawyers who will do their due diligence over Qnet? Yes or no? Yeah, they would do. Why? Because their brand is on the line. They have bigger stakes, right? They are a globally renowned, followed brand, right? Of course, they do have a fleet of lawyers who are looking into this brand, and then only after a lot of due diligence, they got into partnership with us, right? They also have Google, like you and me, correct? But they do research, and that's one takeaway that I had at that time, that we should not drive our life on search. We should research, right? And that there's a big difference in that. So these are four of the many reasons actually that makes me feel a proud Qnetter. Why? Because these are the things that have added so much confidence in my life that I could totally and entirely focus on building my business, building my life, chasing my dreams. Because at the back end, they have taken care of everything, absolutely everything. Yeah. So QNet is the place to be. Yeah, I'm extremely thankful. Like I said, in 2013, I may not have started because of the name, but it was a magnetic connection. It was a connection to be, right? It was a match made in heaven, just like it is with you as well, right? Correct. So be proud, Qnetters, and wear it proudly on yourself. Why? Because this company has changed many lives out there. Yeah. Now coming to something even closer, right? Beyond infinity. Correct. Now I can already see many smiles as I talk about it, because I also had a large smile while I talked about BI. Right now, why beyond infinity? Yeah. What is the whole buzz about? Right. Many newcomers are wondering, what is this BI beyond infinity? What is this all about? Right. And having been with this company for 12 years plus, yeah, I have had the chance to see various teams and even me operate in various ways, very different styles, different ways. And let me tell you, Beyond Infinity is truly unique. Yeah. And I will qualify the statement. Yeah. See, the mindset, the philosophy, the culture, everything is very different here. Yeah. So I do see, after 4 years of BI having BI being born, right? I do see that we have been able to create something which I believe is the most advanced and evolving business practices across, right? And I'm not talking only about network marketing. I'm talking about business practices globally, like entrepreneurship, right? So now there are many reasons, right? And this is a whole different session altogether. Yeah, but I will try to summarize this in 6 points. Yeah, 6 points that make me believe that BI is the best thing that could happen to me after QNet, right? Yeah. So the first is the kind of support system it carries, right? Now, here the number one focus is not to just get a person signed up and push sales. That's not the that's not the point here. Our number one focus is when a person starts with Beyond Infinity, the support system has to start immediately and without any condition of how fast or slow a person wants to go. Correct. Now you can have a fabulous company, but with not so great support system, versus you can have an average company with a fabulous support system, right? Chances of success are much higher in the latter, right? And I've done that. I've worked in bigger companies in my job days. I worked with a smaller entity also, but that smaller entity has helped me grow further because of the kind of support system it had, right? So I have experienced this. Yeah. So we just don't tell people to sign up and make sales, right? Instead, we say, welcome to the family, right? Take your time, don't rush into things, learn, then apply, implement, right? And you will slowly gather momentum there. Yeah. So the first thing one needs to do once they start is learn and understand what they are a part of, right? And see, trust me, you need to appreciate this. You need to acquire the right knowledge, the right skills, and the right mindset to build a business, right? Now, if a person is thrown at the deep end, right, very high chances it will scar them, right? Because they will not be able to see the kind of success right from there, correct? Rather, we smoothly transition a person into creating that mindset for long term success. Yeah. And that comes from one of the most amazing support systems that I've ever seen. Yeah, anywhere in the world. And I've worked in few companies before, and typically there are formal trainings. There's a induction period that happens, maybe a week, maybe 10 days, right? Sometimes in some companies they send you abroad for a training, and basically after that you're left alone. Yes or no? Correct. Here you are not left alone, because that is just the starting point. Yeah. Here we are also talking about the vision that we have and give you clarity, right? Let's understand that the first thing that happens to a person is the welcome. The welcome itself is an amazing, I mean, for me, when I had my welcome in 2013, right, I was very, very nervous. I was anxious, I was excited, but I didn't know whether I'll make it or not, whether I'll be able to do this or not, whether this business is for me or not. But right from the welcome, practically a stranger came and took my welcome and made me feel right at home, right? It talks about the vision, it talks about the do's and don'ts, and what is expected out of me, right? The change I need to bring in myself in order to succeed. Yes. And that's the first step. Then comes the ERS, the entrepreneurial roadmap session, which immediately after the welcome kind of gives us clarity on the expectations and mindset of becoming a 3%er from the very beginning. See, we are not born in the 3%, right? We come from the 97%. Yes or no? Yeah. So knowing that, I understood that there is a change, there is a shift I need to go through. But if someone is constantly telling me what is the shift and guiding me through that, it becomes easier rather than for me to figure it out myself. Right. So ERS becomes a very important. Then you must have noticed the amazing amount of handholding that happens in making the most basic important thing, which is the dream list, right? In helping a person dream big, because we don't come from a background where we are asked to dream ever. Our parents, our well wishers, our teachers, our grandparents, nobody told us to dream, did they? Even if they did, we never bothered, right? Correct. So it starts from there, then goes to the name list and various activities, and nobody leaves the hand, right? In fact, some people have complained that in the initial days it's annoying how much an upline can get after your life. But the thing is, it's the support system, right? We don't want to create. I mean, many people come into this industry with this company and say, in another company I did, there was no hand holding. So empty that part of your journey, because here things are very different. That's why we are very different from the rest, right? So it is the kind of handholding that happens there also. Then comes the most beautiful invention I've seen in network marketing, I don't know, ever, right? Which is the IIP, the 21-day program, which is conducted by individuals who have an average of 10 years of experience in building successful businesses. Now, these are not just people who are in the business for 10 years. These are people who have actively built large teams and organizations and seen tremendous amount of success, achieving real success. Yeah. So imagine being taught by somebody who's 10 years, of average of experience, and who's still actively building their business on ground, right? Tell me, where else does it happen? Correct. All the achievers of any place, they are nowhere to be seen with the newest set of people who will be driving business, right? I have never seen that, right? And I've inquired with many others from many different vocations, and trust me, nobody has been able to tell me that they've seen similar support system anywhere else. Yeah. Now, then comes our events. Yeah, so all of you know that there's a BI event that will happen in April. And by the way, you're all witnessing an event right now, the BICC, which is an online event. Now, by the way, there's a history to this also, why it is split over 2 days, right? Earlier in the physical days, we used to have a 1 day event, just like this. We called it the BTC, the basic training course, right? And then because we are online and we are hybrid now, we have realized that 12, 14, 16 hours of online viewing can be very painful. So we split it over a weekend so that people have enough time to do other things, have their own plans, and continue to learn. And this comes smack in the middle of BIL, right? Yeah, which kind of is there to kind of push. So every event, its timings, what you will witness in those events, I mean, I'll tell you something. When you go to BI, right, what you'll experience is pure transformation, right? Who you are when you arrive and who you will be when you leave will be two different people, right? Something would have changed. It happens every time I go in a seeking mindset, not in a judging mindset. Judge all the Supreme Court judges here, right? Nothing will change in you. Like Shantanu already talked about, right? So if you are a seeker right now, any and everything can change, right? And you will find a new wind, new energy, completely, surpassing everything that you have done so far, right? The degree of change depends on your engagement, of course, right? And the change is guaranteed provided you're here mentally, physically 100%. Yeah. Now, then comes our other trainings like VSEL, right? VSEL is a smaller, training mostly built on the skill part, right? Then there are Sunday systems, right? I mean, these are obviously to emphasize on constant learning, weekly learning, but Sunday system is like a weekly recharge, right? For all of you who remember prepaid mobile days, right? That recharge is required. In fact, so much so far, they say that if you skip even one Sunday system, you are 3 to 6 months behind in the business, right? Because these are, I mean, we partner Sachin when we talk about, he talks about his own journey, right? He says the initial couple of years, he built it only through the Sunday system, actually. He had no upline, right? Sunday system run by some crossline team, and he built it there. So you can understand how important it is. This is not a crossline team. This is your own uplines running this system, right? With tremendous amount of expertise, experience, and knowledge, right? Through success and failure, both, right? So we are in the right place, and missing the system, to my mind, is completely criminal. Unless you are on a hospital bed, right? I mean, and I wish no one is there, right? It means that you must be in the Sunday system and the VSEL that your team carries out, right? So in Beyond Infinity, our objective is just not to recruit people, right? Our upline, like I said, we partner Sachin has been emphasizing this from the very beginning that we have started working with him. And the culture of an organization is defined by its founders, right? Correct. So if I look back at my journey also, when 2013 to 2020 there was one side, and then COVID came and we got fortunate, I think our stars shine bright at that time, right? That we got acquainted with VP Sachin, Bijoyda, right, who have built successful businesses since the very beginning, right? I mean, even if they've had failures, their successes have far overshot their failures, right? Correct. So I knew for a fact that if we follow them, right, it is a sure shot path to success. Correct. Eliminating as many failures, as possible. Yeah. So, and I've seen how he works on ground even today. And he's not a person who's an icon who's only seen in on the stage, right? I have seen the support system of the most successful people also, right, in this team, also coming down and working with the newest, the freshest lot of people that are coming in. Because, and this is also unheard of. I have never seen this before, right? In my last corporate job, my boss was the only person I used to speak to. His boss was invisible to me, right? No communication happens, right, in the corporate world, right? Here they've been able to create, so it is so easy to communicate with anyone. Anyone here can communicate with V Partner Sachin, and that's the kind of structure he's created. So uplines are on ground at all times, not just during IIP, after IIP, throughout, right? Even today, I would say that there's tremendous amount of support system around me also. All my uplines are always there, right, for anything and everything. So that's one big reason. Second, coming to the second one, right? Major focus on people building. Yeah. Now, okay, let me help you understand this. What is people building as such, right? See, being a business owner and being an entrepreneur are two different things, right? And most of us think that both are the same. They're synonymous, right? You can open a cigarette shop also, and you can run a business. You can be a business owner, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're an entrepreneur. Correct? Entrepreneurship is different. It is a lot to do with the mindset, the attitude, the thought process that one carries, right? It's a way of life. It's different from simply running a business, right? Now, here in BI, what I've seen is there is focus on building entrepreneurs. Personally speaking, I was never an entrepreneur material, right? I was always a follower because school, college, job, everywhere we follow orders, right? Correct. And entrepreneurship has a lot to do with being a leader eventually. Correct. So I also started my journey, following a lot of things that came to me from my uplines, right? Of course, followership is very important for any entrepreneur or any leader. A good leader is a good follower, simple as that. But the leadership qualities, the entrepreneurship qualities have to start coming through, right? Now, how are entrepreneurs made? Let's understand this. There are two ways, two major ways, right? Number one is practical experience. Yeah. What do I mean by that? Say you start something, any business you start, you learn through doing. Because see, there is no real degree. I don't know. Today there might be entrepreneurship degrees and all, but I don't know what they teach because entrepreneurship can't be taught on paper or in exams, right? Entrepreneurship is something that is taught on ground. Yeah, are you with me? So there I didn't know of any college degrees that got us there. So let me give you examples. For example, the special ones, right? Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, right? These are first generation entrepreneurs. Their parents were never entrepreneurs. Yes, they did everything through their own experience. They learned from their experience and they did it. But I would still qualify them as people with unique qualities, right? Because there are many entrepreneurs that joined hands with them and became millionaires. But these were two, they are different. They're built different, right? In BI, I would categorize VP Sachin, Bijoyda in that category. Why? Because they are built different, right? I'd rather be that unknown name who joins hands with them and becomes financially free, right? And I'm okay with that. Why? Because uh, they're built different, right? Now, you also in this business, we try, we implement, we do something that doesn't work, right? We learn from it, right? There's a famous quote by Edison, right? He says that I learned 1,000 ways how not to make a light bulb. Yeah, you've heard this, correct? Now that's all good, but of course, each failed attempt was supposed to take him closer to success. But trust me, these mistakes cost. There is a huge cost of these mistakes in entrepreneurship, and it is mostly financial, right? That's why many entrepreneurs they begin their journey and they fail because they are unable to take those financial losses. Yes or no? So many of us, including VP Sachin, including Bijoyda, all our uplines, right? Myself, we didn't come from business families. We don't have any prior experience. We came here. We were shown how to be driven by a dream, right? And that is why the practical experience is a crucial way to becoming an entrepreneur. Because whether when we do things, when we apply whatever we learn, like BICC is happening, right? You go and apply, you may see some failures, you may see some successes. You will learn on your own at that time, right? Only with implementation. Only learning will get you nowhere. Because that is also the difference between a person who succeeds and fails, right? Implementation. Yeah. So this is one way of becoming an entrepreneur. The second way the first way is mostly for first generation entrepreneurs, right? The second way is called shadow learning, right? Now, shadow learning is often seen in second generation entrepreneurs. Now, how does this work? This happens through observation. Now, how does it happen? Let's say, all individuals eventually, all the second generation business owners, they eventually lead the company, right? They are the boss's son or the boss's daughter, somebody related to the top guy there, right? Now they're destined to take over, and we might feel that they are born with a silver spoon, but which they are. Let's agree, right? But the thing is, they don't get any special treatment within their system, right? They are put through the same rigorous format, right? The same rigorous process as everyone else. Take an example. Mukesh Ambani, right? For example, was the same. He had to drop out of Stanford to join his father's business due to his request, right? But nothing came to him so easily. It's not easy to just randomly emulate a father who's a successful, a millionaire entrepreneur. Correct. So he had to go through the bottom line as well, right? He had to work incredibly hard, right? Now, how does this work? He sits with his father during important conversations. He observes his father in meetings. He listens to different people, the leaders in the business talking, right? Observation. They absorb all knowledge and experience through active observation. Now, there is another aspect to this. This kind of learning usually comes from work environments, right? But there is an informal setup as well, right? Which we call the dining table conversation, right? Where informally we are talking and we can learn so many things. Now, that's where majority of entrepreneurial education takes place. Now, does it make sense why your uplines keep talking about physical association with uplines, spending time with uplines? Because it's not the formal education that you're getting, let's say here. Here, you're tuned in to learn, right? But the real learning also comes through when you're not tuned in to learn, but you're tuned into just spending time. And in conversation, you won't know how new things come into your mind and kind of take over, right? This is what happens when each time I spend with any of my uplines. Yeah. So notice that at within Beyond Infinity, we combine both these methods, right? You learn by doing also, right? It's not like you are guarded, you are told what all pitfalls there are, but it's okay to make mistakes, right? Knowing certain things that would have harmed my business, I still did it and learned the hard way, but at least the learning happened, right? So that was the first. The second is spending enough time shadow learning with them, spending time informally. I still recall there was this one time I told my upline that, listen, it's already 10 p.m. Doesn't make sense for me to come to association. And I am talking about an era where association was 7 days a week physical. There was no Zoom, no Skype. Skype was there, but not the preferred mode. Correct. So we would go physically. And my upline would say that come at least, let's hang out after, activities will be done by 11, 11:30, 12. After that, we'll hang out. Trust me, that day was super tiring for me because in office, it's not that physical tired that we get, right? It's mentally tiring. Yes or no? Yeah, so it's mentally exhausting. After that, also, I gave it a thought whether I should go or not. Still drove about 40 minutes, right, to association from South Delhi to Gurgaon. And I recall those 2, 3 hours that I spent just over a couple of drinks, just random talking, right? In Hindi, we call it bakar, right? Yeah, just random, no meaning to it, no business talk. But that recharged me so well that next day I was ready to take over the world actually. Right? So how it recharges, I can't tell you. Right? There's no plug. Right? But just because I plug myself into that, I get recharged. Yeah. So it's a combination of both. So see, entrepreneurship is the change in mindset and the evolution of thought, right? And these are the two things that are very basic to Beyond Infinity's philosophy of building people. Yeah. And there's one example that shines through. So VP Sachin once shared with us how BI started in Vietnam, right? And how there was this one person who was already flourishing in another network marketing company, right? Spoke to VP Sachin and decided to you know uh, get from that success story, that success journey to Qnet. Now, I kept wondering, why would this happen? And by the way, I'm talking about V Council Maithan, right? So, why would a person thriving in another company join a different company? Why would they do that? I mean, I thought, isn't it, a question mark on the loyalty of the person? But trust me, VP Sachin spoke with her, and it became very clear to her that the one thing that majorly was missing there was the concept of mentorship, right? It wasn't just about pushing sales to har jagah hota hai. Everywhere they push sales, right? Correct. But how many places do you know where they nurture you through mentorship, right? So it was about something much more significant. It was about investing in people, investing time in building people. Are you with me? So you see other companies use people to build their business. All the jobs I was in, they used me. Well, we have to admit, they used me to build their business, right? And when I was gone, they replaced me. Correct? But they use people. But at Beyond Infinity, what I've really witnessed is we use business to build people. And that's a crucial difference. Right? So my journey so far with BI has been a complete sea change in my thoughts, in my vision, because I now carry the vision of Beyond Infinity and I thrive in trying to align myself with the vision of V Partner Sachin. Yeah. So that's the second one. The third, right here, the growth. Yes, everyone wants growth, right? Everyone wants growth. But here, the focus I've noticed is on complete holistic growth. Yeah, are you with me? So it is famously said that every successful person is spiritual, right? Now, I had heard this long back. correct? And I always thought that when I will be successful, I will also talk random things like that, right? And maybe when I'm successful, I will turn into spiritualism, right? I will turn that side. But I was so wrong in thinking that. Because, see, understand, growth, like I said, holistic growth not only means financial, but it also means mental growth, it means spiritual growth, right? And the moment I understood that all these things go hand in hand, one thing cannot happen. Because I'll tell you, 2013 to 2020, I had seen financial growth also, and I had seen massive financial dip also, right? And the reason was because the mental and the spiritual growth had not happened, right? Now I learned it the hard way. You can avoid that. Yeah. So spirituality is, it's not, I mean, early on I used to think spirituality is about rituals and visiting temples, right? Correct, but that's not it. Yeah. So spirituality is about self discovery. It is about understanding who I am, right? It is about what I do, my purpose, right? Not just doing things, wake up, go to office, come back home. That was never my purpose, right? My dharma, my karma, right? How I react in under stressful situations, right? It's about personal development. That's called growth. Yeah, that's called personal growth. Now, this isn't a topic usually discussed in the corporate world. I mean, now I see more and more, prevalence of these topics coming up in the corporate world as well. But traditional business still zero. Yeah. Yet we are exploring spirituality in the context of leadership. I told you one thing, that to be a good, successful entrepreneur, we must become a good leader also, right? So a few years ago, I was introduced to a spiritual guru through V Partner Sachin. I was very skeptical, but honestly, that completely changed my life, my perspective, right? And I wouldn't have believed before that. I mean, pre 2020 era, I wouldn't have combined these two concepts together. Or even in my wildest imagination, would I think that these two go hand in hand? They are connected. But today I see it's connected. And it's not that you have to go find a spiritual guru for yourself. I am saying everything we do with BI has a spiritual connotation to it. So you're anyway in it, right? So it's no problem. That's one big thing, right? So I personally, I have grown spiritually. I've realized that this growth is vital to my overall holistic growth, right? And when I study impactful leaders, whether it's outside this business or inside, I see them sharing similar traits, right? Traits rooted in spirituality. In fact, there's a recent event, even V Partner Sachin posted on his Instagram, right? You know, the Indian women's team won the World Cup, and Jamie Rodriguez, she talks about what challenges she was going through and what helped her, right, was again spirituality, right? We have heard Virat Kohli talk about that, and there are many examples, correct? So this is one aspect of the holistic growth. Financial growth, definitely, right? It's a major focus in Beyond Infinity. That's why we are here, right? We are not here to just be spiritually growing and financially poor, right? Like I said, a spiritually grown person naturally grows financially and mentally. That's why I talk towards spiritual growth first. Yeah. And financial growth, let me specify one thing, and this is very unique to what BI or VP Sachin have introduced in my life. And from the very beginning, right, he said, right, that in our organization, instead of having 100 people making $1 million, I'd rather have 500 people making $250,000, right? And that itself sums up the entire philosophy of BI, right? It sums it up perfectly, correct? So it's not about few people getting rich. It's about many people living a fantastic life, financially stable, right? Enjoying life, right? And that's what we're here for. Now, many people earning means many lives changed. Yes, more families are impacted, more happiness is spread. Yeah. So in big events like BI, those of you who were in BI, you would have seen in many events, whether it's within the business or outside, you would have seen in events what happens is the walls of the arena are plastered with achievers and the founders, their pictures. Correct or not? Yeah. And here I have seen, I mean, many people like us getting featured on the walls, right? Because the philosophy is very simple. Everyone is important, and more people earning, right? They are the people who will be focused. You will never see V Partner Sachin getting plastered across the walls there. You'll not see it, right? It's the focus is on the teams, their learnings, right? Ensuring everyone earns more. In fact, BIL, all of you playing BIL, I hope you're enjoying BIL. I hope you're playing to win. right? If not, then take a decision now. It's still not too late, right? People have won in the last month also. From the bottom, they have gone to the top, right? But BIL winners, their pictures are stuck in murals there, right? Huge images across the walls. So you stand a chance to be there, no matter how young you are in the system. Yeah, every drive that we have, whether it's BIL, right, whether it's $10,000 Sapphire, whatever recognition, right, is linked to the earnings, not just sales. Sales is a byproduct, right? We are not constantly pushing sales, right? But the general fact that the focus is on helping people earn money, helping in people's financial growth is at the heart of our philosophy, right? And like I said, that's what we are here for eventually. I didn't come here, honestly speaking, my first thoughts were not helping others, spiritual growth. No, my first thought was helping myself. And it perfectly aligns with rhythm also. Raise yourself to help mankind. Yeah, so it's perfectly fine if you're doing it for yourself. But it's not just about making money. Many people, many places out there can teach you how to make money. I'm sure you have seen all these Facebook and Instagram ads, right? Where they tell you financial masterclass to earn this much money, 99 rupees, 999 rupees. You've seen those ads, right? Correct. Honestly speaking, they can do that, right? But they are only focused on one individual, right? Here, the focus is on everyone, and that is free of cost. Yeah. So it's not just about learning how to create, money. It is about creating wealth, creating assets, right? Most people aren't born with that financial acumen. I did not know how to multiply my money, right? I am learning even today from my uplines who have been successfully doing that. Yeah, correct. And of course, this financial education, this learning of how to create assets from assets, right, is crucial for every entrepreneur, right? What will you do with the money? When you start earning crazy money, what will you do with it? You will need to understand those things, right? And gradually, everyone, it's unfolded in front of everyone as and when they grow in the system, right? Last but not the least, of course, the mental growth, right? Constantly improving ourselves. Again, it is tied to financial and spiritual growth. That's why I said holistic. They all go hand in hand. It's not like one or the other, right? Many people make money, but they don't know how to spend it wisely. Many people in the system today are making money, but they're not changing their lifestyle, right? They're not seeing real growth, right? I know of people who are avoiding spending. They are earning, but they're not spending. People who don't want to take out money from their CPA, right? I'll tell you simply, the more you take out from your CPA, the more you spend, the more you allow more money to come into your CPA, right? Don't treat, you see, money, relation with money is like a relation with a person. The more you hold on to them, right, the more they will want to run away. Correct or not? Yeah. The more you allow them to freely live their own life, the more they stay with you, right? Because there's no insecurity. And this mental growth I have really acquired in the last 5 years, 4 years, 5 years with BI. Yeah. Now going this talking about mental growth, it takes me to my next point, which is the fourth point, which is the leadership programs. Now I already mentioned that a good entrepreneur is a good leader. Yes. So just a second. There are messages. Okay. Done. So messages have started coming. So I'm running short of time. Yeah. But it's okay. Right. Because when we talk about leadership programs, see, understand we are talking about 4 to 5 years, 4 to 5 crores. We do that. We talk about it in our info call also, right? Now that's average, right? Don't say 4 to 5 years only. It can be 2 to 3 years also, right? It can be 6 to 7 years also, 8 to 10 years also. See, the thing is, the leadership programs are built in our journey in such strategic moments, in such strategic times that it suddenly helps us leapfrog into the next level of mindset. Why is that required? Because see, a person may take 25 years to become a CEO in a corporate world, right? They have 25 years to develop that mindset of a CEO, right? We don't have 25 years. Yes or no? We have to do this earlier. So we need to grow earlier. So BI offers comprehensive leadership programs, including LS, LDC, CTC. You've all heard of these names, right? Now, these are not generic programs like you would have seen in the corporate world. They are not developed by Qnet or the V, right? But they were the brainchild of none other than V partner Sachin Bijoyda, and specifically to provide us with breakthroughs, right? So, from their learnings, from their experiences, from their failures, from their successes, we stand to benefit. Are you with me? So as you progress in your business, you meet certain criteria, right? You will be eligible to attend these camps. Now, if you follow the bonanza, you will attend these camps earlier. If you follow 20 DRs in 100 days or 20 DRs quickly, right, you will get to these qualification criteria and you will attend these camps, right? Now, understand these camps are not the destination. These camps are milestones which propel your business further, giving you certain realizations, breakthroughs, which otherwise nobody can give. Are you with me? The best learnings are those that are realized by myself. Yes? Agree? There are so many things that my appliance told me not to do, but I still did it, made those mistakes, right? And learned from by myself. Yes, each time I would think that I should have just followed my uplines, right? Correct. But sometimes our own, mistakes teach us, and that realization is more important. So why to make so many mistakes? Why not go to these camps, avoid those mistakes, and make your journey faster, right? Now these camps are directly linked to your experiences in the business or previous experiences before the business also. And that's the beauty, because it connects so beautifully to your life. It's amazing how it gives us breakthroughs within, let's say, for example, I just came back from LDC, serving at LDC. And trust me, 4 days, there are people with massive breakthroughs. It's almost like they saw the mirror. In fact, I also saw the mirror, right? I saw certain shortcomings in me that I need to plug in immediately, right? And these are camps designed to give us that and help us go faster. They are intense, and believe me, having attended some leadership camps before also in my corporate world. I mean, I've not attended many, but I've heard many senior profiles also here talking about leadership programs in their corporate world. Trust me, no one has ever said that it is similar. Our the BI leadership programs are far, far superior, right? And they give us crazy takeaways. It changes a person, right? Like I said, if one goes as a seeker, it completely changes us, right? I'll give you another example. Though it's not technically a camp, but CTC, coach the coach, right? Apart from learning how to build a business to last, apart from learning how to run a global business, establish systems, ensuring we plug in, all the gaps. Apart from getting all these things, we are also given financial acumen, right? Which are so crucial to, do know what to do next. Correct. And that's how to create generational wealth, right? These are things that are taught at that stage. So get there fast. Yeah. In fact, I'll tell you something. My very first VSL, in those days, it used to happen in a small hotel room, right, with only about 40, 50 people, right? And it was taken by V Council Shantanu, right? And he spoke about camps. Now, I didn't know him. I didn't know about camps, nothing. I was just standing with my upline there because all the seats were covered. And all I knew was I was asking, what is LS? What is LDC? What is CTC? All I was told was, qualify for these so that your journey is fastest, right? And all I did was I noted down, when is the next LS, what do I have to do to get there, right? So wherever you are, whichever stage you are in your business, know what is coming up next, right? I think an LS is coming up next, early next year, right? So whoever is on the brink, qualify, not because that is the destination. Like I said, it is just a milestone which will help you propel to the next one, then LDC, then CTC, right? Are you with me? So this is the fourth point, because of this beautiful setup to help us become, from budding leaders to people becoming so grounded in their own life that they are able to lead massive organizations across the globe. Yeah. The fifth point is the kind of pedigree we have across boundaries, right? Now, we have individuals here from top institutes, and they are overachievers from various professions, correct? With 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40 years of experience. Are you with me? People who have excelled in their previous avatars, right? There are chartered accountants, doctors, lawyers, celebrated defense officials, and whatnot, right? Retired government officials, I mean, such good people. In fact, when I, started also, the one thing that really gave me some peace of mind was the kind of people I will be working with, right? So I was told about Shantanu that he's an ex-CEO of a consulting group. I was told about Manish, right? That he was ex Barclays, products division head, all India. I mean, these were things that before meeting them also, I knew that, okay, if these kind of people are here, it it is not by chance, right? They are here because they are already doing well and they want to do better, and that kind of helped me become more confident at that time. Now, how did they get here? Because this they also saw something. So if they saw something big, then I have to see it as well. Are you with me? And not only in my market, but I have seen this in other markets as well, in other countries as well, uh, from very illustrious backgrounds. They have come here and they're a part of our business, right? So just a second. Ah. So time is up, right? But I'm taking another 5 minutes, correct? So I'm practically done. See, I've talked about five major reasons, right? And here, like I was talking about in the last thing, again, I just came back from LDC and we were serving. There were people from India, people from Vietnam, and I don't sense any boundary actually, right? We learn from each other's culture, each other's backgrounds, each other's journeys, each other's experiences, and that's the beauty, right? I don't, separate my Indian friend from my Vietnamese friend. I think we can do so much more together, knowing that we are part of one family rather than looking at our cultural backgrounds, right? So that's the fifth point. Last but not the least, let's talk about the core philosophy, right? And this is the real, the showstopper, the game stealer, right? What Sachin talks about, we partner Sachin talks about, is we are here in BI, we are building a community of happy people, right? This concept was alien to me, right? In fact, from childhood, I was always told that rich people have maximum problems, right? Correct? Don't be rich. This happens if you become rich. That happens if you become rich. You become selfish, this, that, and the other. And at the core of it, what we are constantly getting nurtured on is becoming happy first. Because I learned through spirituality, through VP Sachin, through my uplines, that it's not that successful people are happy. It's happy people that become successful. And trust me, most of us have so many things going on in our life and we have so many things to complain about, right? Now, how is he propagating that here? It's very simple. First of all, I already talked about how he's ensuring that more and more people earn money. Money makes people happy, yes or no? Right? The saddest people in this business are the people who are not making money, right? The happiest people, each week you make money, you're the happiest. Agree or not? Okay, do some exercise, give me some thumbs up or thumbs down. If you disagree, you can do this. If you agree, you can do this, right? So I know you're waiting for the break. I'll just take 2, 3 more minutes, right? So happiest people are the people who make money, right? The focus is not on building just few millionaires. His focus is on building multiple people who are financially stable and free. Example BIL, right? Second, another thing about creating that happiness is the kind of flat structure that he's created for us. You can reach out to absolutely anyone. You are not bound by only one upline or two uplines you can speak to. You can like the door is open for me to reach out absolutely anyone. I can call VP Sachin, and the problem was with me. I had hiccups, right? I had issues talking to him, but he never had issues talking to me, right? Initially, I had issues talking to Bijada, but he never had issues talking to me. Much earlier than that, every upline I have judged before I talk to them, right? But trust me, here we are all equal. The genealogy or the hierarchy is only there in the portal, right? But otherwise, the structure is flat. Yeah, here we grow together as family. All right. So please do not think that he's an upline, he's a downline. I can't say this, I can't say that. Right. Of course, we respect each other. We will. It's not like an upline should not, disrespect, should not respect his downline. It should be mutual always. I have never seen my uplines disrespect any person. Rather, I have always seen them stoop, to the level where a person can relate to them, right? And they don't need to, but they do, and that's the culture. That's at the heart of our philosophy, right? And what else makes us happy? There is one big concept that I've learned in BI. It's called empower, uplift, encourage, EUE, right? No corporate culture has this. In the corporate culture, there is bashing, there is belittling people, right? Discouraging people. Correct or not? Mistakes are punished in that culture. But here I have seen no matter what, right? If there is everyone there, as long as I am able to reach them, they are there helping me to uplift me, right? My psyche, my mindset, each time my mistakes are not punished, right? Rather, I'm told that it's okay, right? We'll do better next time. It's okay. And this is, and these mistakes are what help us, they are the stepping stones for us. Yeah. So constantly helping me believe in my true potential. This is what has happened over the past 5 years, right? Now, to end it, 2020, when I was fortunate enough to start working with the V partner Sachin, right? Mentally, I crashed at that time, right? But it's only because of him, Bijoyda, all my uplines, right? And this system that we call Beyond Infinity, right? That lifted me to a place where I can believe in myself again, right? So if you are sitting there questioning whether I am at the right place, whether I'll be able to do this business or not, whether this business is meant for you or not, trust me, it's God's plan that you are in BI. Very fortunate people come to BI, yeah, and miss nothing that BI has to offer. Okay, so I will end it with a video, right? And I want AV to play this video, right? And I want to narrate something through this, and I want you to place yourself in that video. Are you with me? Yeah, are you ready to watch it with me? Okay, okay, great. So just look at this girl. Okay, we can start.
Great
Yeah.
about me.
So this kid here is like me, right? I want to do this. I want to climb, but I have my doubts, right? I don't want any help also, but I'm constantly complaining that I'm
Yeah,
unable
nice
to do
work,
this,
mate. Oh, great work.
right? But look at the support, right? There are parents here, right? And just like that, my uplines were there, constantly giving me those big vibes, right? I can't see them. My eyes
Nice,
are
bud.
in the front, and I can only see a wall in front of me. Correct?
Great work,
But
buddy.
behind me, there is so much going on, right? Without touching me also, they are constantly helping me grow into something that becomes a believer that I can do it. Even
Oh,
though
yeah.
I'm constantly saying I can't, I can't, I can't. It's painful, right?
Yes,
But
mate.
they didn't make me believe that one bit.
Push down a
I kept
second.
going, right? They kept throwing those vibes at me, right? And of course, you'll see what happens in the end.
Ready for a bag? Ready for the big bags? Did it work? Come try it out. Try to use it work.
Feet out to your left, mate. There you go.
Yeah, constantly directing me at the right time.
You know what to
Yeah,
do.
because they have done it themselves and they helped me get
I
there,
didn't help you once.
right? And they never take
That was
credit, right?
all you. No, I didn't, mate. That is
Correct. And now you'll see the perfect example of Born to Fly, right? Ready? Yeah. So this encapsulates BI for me, right? BI is that setup of uplines that are constantly there, whether we believe or not that we are meant to do it, but they believe in us because God has planted us here, right? Every person counts, every person, every heart counts, every dream counts. And this is what I have learned in BI. And I proudly wear the badge of BI, right? And take it forward wherever VP Sachin, wherever Bijoyda takes us, right? I know in the heart of BI, and it's in all of our success, not a few, right? So believe in yourself because BI does, right? So all the best. Have a fantastic BI, have a fantastic BICC, have a fantastic BIL, and I'll see you in the next camp. I'll see you in BI. Thank you so much.